Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Canelo Alvarez is hated simply because he's not black. And look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And you've recently seen Jermell Charlo go undisputed, make history at 154 pounds. But yet Jermell Charlo has only received praise and respect for making history, as he should. But all of the channels that are praising him, giving him respect, they didn't keep that same energy with Saul Canelo Alvarez. All of these guys turned out to be nothing but haters when it came to Canelo Alvarez making history and going undisputed. Akhi, DBN, Fannon, Ego, just to name a few. These guys and all their dumbass fanboys were nothing but hating on Canelo Alvarez. Basically, put it like this: when Canelo Alvarez went undisputed, they had nothing but criticisms, hate. They basically stated Canelo Alvarez was losing until the knockout. They dismissed his undisputed run as great simply because he fought multiple European fighters, as if they weren't good enough, as if they weren't champions. These guys were spreading lies like they spread their cheeks. And when you see and compare the two undisputed runs between Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo, it's clear that Canelo Alvarez had the much better undisputed run, and yet he's still hated on. I mean, look at it like this. Jermell Charlo fought John Jackson. This is a guy who had multiple losses and had been knocked out prior. And not only that, he was actually literally losing until the knockout. All three judges had him down on the scorecard. All three. But none of these haters mention this. The interesting thing is, he fought Tony Harrison on his run to be undisputed as a challenger for his title. And Tony Harrison is a guy who had been knocked out twice, who had never been a world champion to that point. And he outboxed and beat Jermell Charlo. He needed to rematch him. He took a loss along the way. He fought Jason Rosario. This is a guy who already had prior losses, who had already been knocked out. Come on. And who was never considered elite, and who was a basic fighter. Not only that, he fought Brian Castano, who most people felt like Castano got robbed in the first fight. They felt like they was home cooking, and there was a rematch needed. And yes, Charlo won the rematch. But what I'm saying is, Jermell Charlo took years to accomplish undisputed. He needed multiple rematches and suffered a loss and a draw along the way. But it gets nothing but praise and respect from all of these hating ass channels and all of these hating ass fans. But on the other end, Canelo Alvarez, he goes undisputed. He goes undisputed in less than a year, in only 11 months. Every fighter he fought was undefeated. There was no blueprint on how to beat Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, or Caleb Plant. None. There was no blueprint. None of these guys had been knocked out before. And no rematches, no losses, and no draws were needed or happened to Canelo Alvarez. He had a much better run with better quality fighters and better opposition overall. And he did all of this in 11 months. It took Charlo years. Now, I have to give both of these guys credit, because both of these guys are excellent fighters. Both of these guys have accomplished something great. And I respect both guys. But what we have to do is keep that same energy. There are levels to greatness. And no one should hate on Canelo Alvarez simply because he is not black. Because men lie, women lie, but the facts don't lie.